Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is Kendrick Latchman. Kendrick, can you please say a few words about yourself and thank you for accepting the invitation for the interview.
Oh, thank you for having me. My name is Kendrick Latchman again, fighting out of pound for pound boxing gym, and I'm out of Kansas City, Missouri.
When did you start training and which was the first martial art you trained?
Um, Always knew I wanted to be a fighter from a young age. Started with wrestling when I was 14.
So
I was
wrestling
playing,
was your first love, right?
yes.
Oh, outstanding. Who are your coaches now? Who are your sparring partners? Which is your dojo?
My coaches right now, for boxing, I got Melvin Wesley and MMA coach Kelvin Tiller. Sparring partners, I got it's a lot of guys, man. Kind of do a lot of cross training with a lot of local guys here in Kansas City, and then some guys in St. Louis. So I do training with those guys. So
Outstanding. Can you please, do you have a nickname? Uprising, right?
yes.
Can you please elaborate it?
I like came up with that name because I feel like even in defeat, there's only one direction you can go is up. Because if you do some self-reflecting from your fight, you learn from it. So when you learn, you get better. So there's no going down. You only go up. So
Uh,
I chose that.
in American English, what is uprising exactly meaning?
Um, it's like uh a coming, like something's kind of like something new is about to come, like something different, a change.
Hmm,
So
very interesting.
yeah, I chose that because I feel like I'm a new breed of fighter.
That's great. Really, really new. How would you describe your fighting style?
Um, I would describe it as very cerebral. I like to break my opponents down mentally and just like make calculated moves. I don't. I told a lot of guys this, even a lot of my fighter buddies. So like when I'm fighting, even when I'm sparring, I don't just throw stuff out there. I aim and then I fire. I know where I'm gonna hit. I got my eyes on it, then I get it. I calculate every move. I set traps. If they're moving faster than what I'll slow them down. I'll bring them down to a pace I want them to go. So my fighting style is very cerebral and technical.
So, do you think that you're tactically a very good fighter?
Oh yes, oh yes. I train lots of hours and I put the work in. So yeah, the confidence is there. I believe I like when I have a full camp, and I'm focused. I'm the best.
Can you please say from 1 to 10 how much is tactic important in any martial art according to you from 1 to 10?
How much what?
How much is tactic important in any martial art, for example in MMA, BKFC, from 1 to 10? You said you're a
Man,
tactical guy, right?
that's important. 10
10.
all the way. Yes. You need to. There's so many like it's easy to get in shape, but a lot of people think fighting is more physical. And for me, it's more of a mental aspect than physical. It's easy to get in shape physically. Mentally, it's harder to get in shape, and you have to be, and not just martial arts. I believe in any sport, if you want to be successful, you have to be the smarter player or a smarter athlete. You have to have the IQ to be able to compete at a high level. And when you have an IQ, tactic is everything.
Can we discuss your first professional MMA fight?
My first professional fight, was a lot smaller. My frame, I was a lot lighter weight than what I'm now. Like now, I'm walking around like 146 outside of camp, and I think I was walking around like 128. And my first pro fight, I ended up fighting at 115, and Yeah, I was a guy. He wanted to make his pro debut. He didn't have as many Emmy fights. I had a lot of amateur fights, and we couldn't find any more 15. There wasn't a lot of uh, straw weights for men out there. So like this guy, he felt like he was ready to go pro, and he decided to fight me. And he didn't have as much experience as I had, and I felt it when we went in there, and it just showed.
How did you stop Jose Estrada?
Um, Jose Estrada is a good friend of mine. I thank him for stepping in. I was originally supposed to face Kim Porter. He ended up backing out of the fight and couldn't get anyone, and they asked Joe Estrada, and he stepped up last minute. So well, I wouldn't have fought him if we had a choice, but it was last minute, and I tried to stop him by submission in the first round, but Joe's a tough guy, so I ended up toughing it out, and then end up stopping him in the second round, head kick, TKO. But yeah, Joe's a good friend of mine. And we ended up training a week after the fight.
You took part in MMA battles in boxing, bare knuckle, Muay Thai. Which one is the hardest and why?
MMA is the hardest because it makes you think more. You have to I get a lot of boxers. I got a lot of my boxing buddies. They think that boxing's more superior because they feel like they say it's chess. A lot of them, even the old school boxers, they say boxing is chess. But for me, I'm like, yeah, it's chess, but MMA's four or three-dimensional chess because there's so many things you have to worry about. It's just not striking. You have to worry about the grappling. You got to worry about weight. Like the weight classes are different. The weight cuts are different from MMA to boxing. Those guys aren't cutting as much weight as MMA fighters are. And there's so many ways you can lose, so many ways you can win. You just gotta watch out for it. You gotta be on your toes. You can't slack in there. So for me, I feel like MMA is harder because you can be in a striking exchange. You go straight into wrestling real fast, and this is something you have to be able to switch on the fly.
Which was the hardest Muay Thai battle you have ever participated?
It was the only one I had. I tried to get more after that. It was when I fought Victor Saravia. It was tough, man. I ended up fighting for Lion Fight. Uh, it was a short notice fight. I think I had 2 weeks. I ended up cutting like 32 pounds. I was like 152, ended up getting down to 122. That was like 30 pounds, yeah, but like it's 152, got all the way down to 122 in 2 weeks. But I had like for that fight, I didn't do any training because my daughters were, I had just had kids, so like I didn't do any training, I was just working. And the opportunity came, I was like, yeah, I can use extra money. Ended up fighting Victor, and it was tough. I told myself as an amateur I would never do Muay Thai or boxing, and I ended up doing both, and I love it. So like I'm more open-minded to doing more other combat sports, just because I've tried these things I said I wouldn't do. But yeah, hopefully I can get a Muay Thai fight again or a kickboxing because it was fun. It was hard, but it was fun.
Now, MMA question. What can you say about your fights against Jason Eastman and Jerome Rivera?
So who was the first one?
Jason Eastman, I think he was FAO earlier, I believe, then he switched to Eastman.
Jason Eastman. Uh, was it for? Was it recently?
No, I don't think so. It's one of your
Oh,
MMA victories.
oh, okay. Jason. Oh, Cefalu? Was it
Yes,
Cefalu?
yes, he switched to
Yeah, yeah.
Eastman.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Jason Cefalu, he was a tough guy. I watched.
He
Usually I
was
don't
my
watch it.
guest.
Yeah, he was tough. He was a tough guy. He was really aggressive, which it plays into my style a lot. Because naturally I'm a counter striker. So and he's a lot shorter than me, so he played into my style, and it made it a lot easier for me because I didn't have to chase him like I do most of the other guys. I had to kind of chase him, but Jason, he came forward to me the whole time, and uh, a lot of guys, they fold under the pressure that he brings. Like I said, I'm naturally a counter striker. I'm like the more aggressive, the better. Like you're making my job easier if you're coming at me hard. So I'm like, it. I like that fight. It was easy. I was ready to finish him, but me and him fought. We were supposed. Dana White was supposed to be there for his show, looking for a fight. So I was like, yeah. I drove all the way from Kansas City to Florida for that fight, and I was like, yeah. I'm not going to play around like I usually do. I taunt my opponents, but I was going to try to knock him. I could have knocked him out if I wanted to, but Dana White was there, so I was like, I'm not going to take any risks. I'm just have fun, just be smart, and just have fun. Which is what I did with Jason Sefru. I have fun in it, but he's a tough guy. I got my respect. He took a lot and he just kept coming for it, so I have respect for him. And Jerome, um, it's weird because he wasn't my toughest fight. I give him credit because when I had fought him, I had got the flu the week before we fought, and I never had the flu before, so I just thought it was gonna be like a cold. And I fought on the cold before, and I was able to fight and perform still, just couldn't breathe, just congested. But no, the flu was nothing like the cold. My muscles, my whole body was fatigued for like a month. Even after the fight, I was fatigued for a month. I had no energy, no strength. Um, I couldn't stand up longer than 5 minutes without feeling like I was gonna pass out. So I ended up taking that fight, and I felt like my adrenaline got me through it, the fight, because before it's just like I couldn't stand up in like too long. I think I got the flu from a teammate that was training, like he's in a UFC now. But he was training for his UFC fight, and he ended up backing up because he had the flu. Then he gave it to me because I was training, but like rolling around. But yeah, I didn't back out of the fight. Should have, but I didn't. Uh, to me, I feel like if I didn't have the flu, he wouldn't have won that fight because I didn't have like a lot of power or speed or snapping my punches at all, and I felt like I still was hurting him, and I definitely didn't have no strength, and I was winning the wrestling exchange with him, and I was not at my best, and I felt like if I was even 60% close to being where I was at, I could have won easy against Jerome. I would like to fight him again, just to show him, yeah, that was just good timing. He caught me at a good time when I was not at my best and I had the flu. But yeah, I don't think he was a tough fight at all. I just didn't have no energy. I could have got out the triangle that he put me in. I just I didn't have no energy to get out of it. I was just I was drained from the first round, from the first wrestling exchange because it was like, all right, I have to force myself to fight and wrestle, and which I was doing, and I felt like I was winning and I go back and watch the tape. I was winning the wrestling exchange, and and it surprised me because I was like, my energy was low. Like the entire fight, I had no energy at all. But yeah, I like to fight him again if LFA lets that happen, or if he wants to do it again. I doubt it.
Now, Western boxing question. Nico Hernandez fight. What can you say about it?
Oh man, they set me up that fight. I think I had 17 hours uh, notice. I know they mentioned it for my fight. The commentators, they got it wrong. They said it was 48-hour notice. It was not. I had 17 hours notice before that fight, and they called me, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I just had a fight, and I was at the time I think it was like 142, and I got down to 17 hours to 126, from 142 to 126, and I don't have a lot of body fat, like 3% body fat, so it was just a hard cut, and when they told me, we were discussing this on the phone with I think the matchmaker. It's like, oh yeah, you think you could do 4 rounds? I'm like, yeah, I'm in good enough shape for 4 rounds. I wasn't training for a fight, It was just I was working out, but not like training for a fight. Fight camp's completely different from working out. It's more intense to get you in better shape. you're on point when you're in the fight camp. But training, I was just doing just light conditioning for that. But yeah, I was in shape for 4 rounds. I was like, yeah, I can do 4 rounds. I'll give them 4 rounds. Originally, they tried to get me to cut down to 115, and I told them how heavy I was. And they're like, you sure you can't do it? I was like, no, I'm not cutting to 115, and I'm 142, and it's 17-hour notice. I'm not going to do that. So I asked if I can weigh in when I get there, and they was like, yeah, I can weigh in, eat, do all that stuff. So I get there around noon, which they never let me tell the story when they did the interview. So I get there around noon, and I'm like, all right, I'm here. Can I weigh in and eat and hydrate? Because I cut a lot of weight. And they're like, yeah, we'll wait till the commissioner get here. And I was like, all right, how far is the commissioner? There's like 30 minutes. 30 minutes go by. Is the commissioner anywhere near? I was like, oh, we just spoke with him. He's an hour out. I'm like, all right. It's like hour pass again. It's like, where's the commissioner? Oh, he's an hour out again. I was like, you said that an hour ago. I haven't weighed in yet, and it's the day of the fight. I haven't weighed in. Hours go by, and it's an hour before the show starts. The commissioner gets there. Oh, you can weigh in now. So they waited an hour before the show to start, and I only had an hour. Like, not really an hour. You don't want to, like, I only had a little bit of time to rehydrate. And it was a day of the fight, so I didn't want to put too much on my stomach. Because, like, even when I fight, I don't, like, after weigh-ins, I'll eat a lot the day of weigh-ins. And then the day of the fight, I'll eat once. Because I don't like fighting with a full stomach or anything. But, like, yeah, I didn't eat too much. I drank a lot of liquids, but I really didn't have enough time to recuperate. And I step inside the ring. It's my time to fight. We're the main event. Step inside the ring. The ring's tiny. It's small for him because he likes to fight in the pocket. Because he doesn't know how to fight on the outside. So the ring is made for him, his style. I get inside the ring, and one of the guys was like, hey, by the way, it's 6 rounds instead of 4. I was like, that's not what I was told on the phone. I was told it was 4 rounds. So I'm like, all right, you guys wait till an hour before the show starts to let me weigh in, and then you lie about the amount of rounds it is. So, yeah, I was already pissed for the fight. I was like, all right, I'm already here, whatever. Because I had to change my plans and how I was going to approach the fight. Because I wasn't good enough to shape for 4 rounds, and like with the weight cut, I was like, I can go and push the pace, but like since it was 6 rounds, I'm like, all right, now I have to approach this smartly, and like not like burn up too much energy too fast. I have to like have some in reserve for later rounds because I didn't know. I knew like he was hydrated well, he ate, and because he came up a weight class, which I know that he doesn't walk around too heavy. Well, he doesn't walk around too light. They lied and said he walks around like 117, but I know that's not true. He walks around like 132. We have similar training partners, and they tell me how much he weighs, but his dad would tell him that he walks around 117. So yeah, he didn't cut any weight really. He ate, he can eat, he was well hydrated. He had a full camp. So I was like, yeah, I can't fight him like it would be if it was a 4 rounds. Because if it was 4 rounds, I would have came at him. I would have been aggressive. So I was like, now I have to fight on the outside and try to keep him outside and counter. And first few rounds, I felt like I was bringing it to him. I watched the fight too, and even in there, he wasn't landing anything clean. He was missing a lot. I hurt him a few times. I dropped him once, but they didn't count it. He slipped, but he didn't. I hit him and he slipped. He fell. It was a knockdown, but they didn't count it. Yeah, like I landed more punches. I did a lot better considering like the circumstances I was put through, and I hit him more. I threw more punches. I landed more shots in it. Everything he threw, I was rolling. I was rolling his punches off my shoulders, off my biceps. He wasn't landing anything clean on me. And he started to get frustrated because he wasn't landing anything clean, so he started to fight dirty. He tried stepping on my shoes, pushing me, trying to sneak elbows in there when we fought because he thought like I wasn't gonna be able to box because I'm an MMA fighter. I'm like, no, I can box. I box with the best guys at 35, 130, 126, 122. I've been against the best, and like he thought I couldn't box. And that's why I proved a lot of boxers wrong. I can box. But yeah, I would like to fight him again. He doesn't want to fight me though. I've been trying to get that fight, the rematch. I was like, hey, you know what? Give me a full camp and let me cut weight properly, and I promise you I'll knock you out. I told him me and his dad got into it online. He tried to get me to fight his little brother. I was like, yeah, I'll fight his brother and Nico the same night. No breaks in between. And they didn't want to do it. I was like, give me a camp. I'll fight both of them.
Outstanding story, really outstanding. Which was your toughest Western boxing fight?
My toughest boxing? Oh, man. That's a hard one. Okay. My toughest one, I feel like it was German Desmond. He was my toughest opponent. He was kind of hard to figure out. Yeah, he was the hardest guy to figure out for me because he was big for the weight class. He was really big for 128. He was like 5'11", really long, nice size, and he was quick. Had real good pop at the end of his punches, but he was like my toughest fight, and I think me and him fought. We were on the undercard of the Adrian Broner and Vargas card in New York, I think 2 years ago. But yeah, he was my toughest opponent to date in boxing. He's really hard to figure out. But I wouldn't mind fighting him again. I'm not scared of anyone. I'll fight him twice, even if they beat me. I'll still fight him.
What can you say about your bare knuckle debut? Was it a very stressful experience for you, considering that you don't wear gloves, that you are not allowed to have any kind of a protection aside of wrist stuff and
Um, I feel no different. To me, I used to do that a lot before I actually started training for fights. I used to get into a lot of street fights growing up. I I just had like a trouble past growing up. I was involved with gangs. I always got into fights. I always got into trouble. So like to me, it was not nothing new. The only thing different was I actually knew how to fight now, and I know how to throw a punch correctly. I have the IQ for it. That's the only thing different. So if like going into it, I was more confident, more comfortable because I'm like used to this. And honestly, I really didn't see no different from MMA and bare knuckle boxing because I knew like I didn't have no question in my chin because MMA I have eaten shots, I eaten flush knees, elbows, feet, shins to the head, and didn't phase me. So I'm like, if I can take that, I can take a fist to the head. And like I fought this guy before, and even though it was years ago, is like I said, I look at things, I look at facts, and I am cerebral about my approach. Me and Miles have been we're good friends, and I've said this before in another interview. We've been pro the same amount of time, both pro for 6 years, and that was his sixth pro fight altogether. That was, I think, my 28th pro fight. I've had 14 MMA, 14 or 15 boxing, one Muay Thai, and that bare knuckle boxing. And I've been busy, and it's not like I've been fighting bums either. I've been fighting the best in the country, outside the country too. Went to Canada, fought one of the best there. But I've been fighting the best. I've been busy. I haven't had any hand-fed fights. So like going into that, I felt comfortable. I felt confident. And the only difference was when the fight started. The first few exchanges, I threw power in my punches, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I have to take power out because I felt like if I continued to throw power, I probably would have broke my hands. If I didn't knock him out, I would have broke both my hands. If it went to the judges, I would have broke my hands because it's like the way he was moving. He's just coming in a lot with his head down. He wasn't looking, and a lot of times I was catching his forehead. So I was like, all right, I need to take the power out. I don't need to hit him hard because when I start to just touch him, it was still hurting him. So I was like, all right, I don't need power. I just need to focus more on precision for this fight and just use a little speed, not a lot, a little bit of speed, time everything, and just be very precise with my strikes. And that's what I did. Uh, I took the power completely out because I kept using power, and I never like. Obviously I want to go in there and finish the guy, but I always have that in the back of my mind. Right, the guy can take it and might go to the judges, so I have to be smart when I take the fight. I don't like taking risk unless I know like it's I have it in the back. But I felt like I said, I felt like I would have broken my hands if I kept doing hit me with power. So I just took the power and just touched him, and it worked.
So, what are your plans for the future? Do you plan to remain at bare knuckle, or you plan to switch promotions or martial arts again?
My main focus is MMA. Hopefully, I can get the call for UFC at short notice. I'm ready. I'll do 135 for them. Go up to bantamweight, fight those guys. 25. I can make the weight easy because when I'm in training camp, I keep my weight down at 135, so I don't have to cut much. But outside of training camp, like 146. But when I'm training, 135. But MMA is always my main focus. Hopefully, I can get something. And if I can get contender series, I'm ready for late calls because I feel like these guys that they have in the UFC aren't that good. And I feel like a lot of them, they just, they're there because they have connections and they're not as good as people think they are. And I want to show people that, like, just go on there and just show them, like, these guys that they think are really good, they're not good. And I will show them that too. I've trained with a lot of those guys as far when I fought a lot of them, and they're not that good. Because most of the time I fought them or trained with them when I wasn't at my best, and they weren't that good.
Would you like to add something, maybe to greet someone, maybe to mention something else about your career?
So would I like to add something to it?
Yeah, if there is something we didn't discuss, or
Um, not. I mean, I would like to try. Like I said, I'm open to trying other combat sports because I've tried stuff I said I wouldn't do. I'm actually thinking about what I would like to do lately. I've since I've done Muay Thai, I was like, I would like to try that out and see how that is. Just have a feel of it because I've competed in so many combat sports, and I wanted to try as much as I can before really start to put my focus on, like, if the UFC calls, I'm like, all right, that's all I can do is MMA. I won't be doing anything else for a while. So I would like to try Letway sometime in the future if I can get something. But yeah, I love to fight. I want to fight the best guys around. And a lot of them aren't willing to fight, so that's the thing too. A lot of guys don't want to fight me at 125. I've
yeah, but in
offered a
Latvia
couple.
there is one. Yeah,
Huh?
uh,
You said what?
I just started to say in Latvia you have a rule: you can get knocked out once if you get up after 2 minutes.
Oh man, see, I think that's where I'll do really good because I'm not your like traditional Muay Thai or heavyweight fighter. Those guys like to stand and trade. I don't like doing that. Like my like the bare knuckle fight. Like Miles, like I said, he's a good friend of mine. He was saying the whole week, he's like, he wants fight of the night. I was like, to me, if I hear any fighter says that, like, say it, I think that's stupid. Like, why would you want fight of the night? It's for me like for you to be in fight of the night means you're taking damage. You're getting fucking hit a lot, hard shots too. So I'm like, no, I don't want fight of the night. I want performance of the night or knockout or finish of the night. Fight of the night, you're getting beat back, and the fight's close. I don't want a close fight. I don't want to take damage in the fight. So I don't think it's smart to do that. So I'm like, no. I think if I hear a fighter say they want fight of the night, they want to get hit. I don't want to get hit. I like to keep my brain intact when I retire and still be able to function and put sentences together. Because I know too many retired fighters who can't put sentences together and their speech is so badly slurred. I don't want that. I want to have an intact brain after I'm done fighting.
Well, It's kind of hard after martial arts career, but if you're
Not if you
able
don't
to do
get
it, that's great. That's actually great.
not if you don't get hit. Like a lot of my fights, I don't get hit a lot. I think the most, even MMA, I get hit probably 4 times in 3 rounds. I don't get hit a lot. I don't take a lot of damage. I do all the hitting. I don't get hit.
That's the art of war, you know. In my country, we like to say that's the art of war. I don't know how you call it in the USA.
Oh, I don't know. They're kind of, some of them are a little slow here. They want to get punched. I don't want to get punched. I like to be smart, and I like to remain smart. And you do that by not getting hit. Fighting is science, it's art. It's it is like the art of punching and not getting punched. And a lot of guys, they don't grasp that. They like to get in those bloody wars. I'm like, it looks good and all, it's entertaining, but like longevity wise, it's not good for your health. Later on down the line, it will come back and affect your health. Whether it's your kidneys, your brain, something, it'll affect you. You won't be the same. So, you gotta protect yourself and be smart about training and fighting and how you do it so you can, enjoy your life later on when you retire. You got family, you want to enjoy the time with them. You don't have to be in a wheelchair or a hospital constantly because you got health problems due to all those wars you've been into. So I don't want that. I want to be able to travel and relax with family after. That's it.
Well, I hope your dream gets true. I mean,
Oh, it will. It will.
I hope so too. I mean, but very rarely fighters keep their head, especially in MMA. But if you do it, then you're a master fighter.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I study the game. I study a lot, and I make sure I don't take damage. And I don't take damage in my fights. I leave the fights looking like I have not been in a fight. I don't have a scratch on me. I did bare knuckle boxing, didn't have a scratch on me.
Yeah, I've
I
seen it,
didn't
and I
take
was
any damage.
so shocked.
Yeah. I told the doctor when we did the check-ins she's like, I'm gonna have to check you to get stitched. I was like, you don't have to worry about that for me. I'm probably the only fighter on here that's not gonna have a scratch on me. So I don't like getting hit. I can take a punch. I'm tough. I have a really good chin, but I'm not about to prove that to anyone. Like if that's the last option and I have to prove I'm tough, then I'm gonna do it. But that's my last option to prove like I'm going to be tough. I can take a punch. I'm not going to do that. I know I can take a punch. I have a great chin, but you're not going to know that because you're not going to hit me.
That's awesome. One of the
Yeah.
most entertaining fighting strategies I've ever heard. I hope it brings you
Yeah.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Pretty much great interview. I will upload it on Friday. Just to know, since
Awesome. Awesome.
tomorrow I have something booked in, but on Friday it will be uploaded.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Alright, no problem. I will send you a link on Friday when it's done.
Okay. Awesome.
Alright,
You
thank you
have a
so
good day.
much.
All right.
Alright,
Bye.
goodbye.